I
although
think
we
we
incorporate them in doing these things, do they have the relationships that we have that's going to want them to come together when we're gone?
That's a good
Absolutely
question.
not. Absolutely not.
Today, we're going to talk about what it's really like to navigate family during the holidays. Not the Instagram version, the real version. The stress of planning, the challenge of making the time when work is demanding, the dynamics that shift when everyone comes together, the political conversations you dread or avoid, and somehow through it all, why we keep showing up for each other. Whether you're listening to this while traveling to see family, or you're taking a break from holiday prep, or maybe you're dreading the gathering that's coming up. We hope this conversation feels like sitting around the table with us. Let's get into it. I'm so excited to be joined by three of my many cousins to talk about our family, our traditions, and how some people can navigate through some of the more difficult times being around family for the holidays. And so I want to welcome in Miss Christine Anderson, Mr. Don Nash, and Miss Ladidra Jean Wilson. I'm sure you'll get me later for putting that Jean in.
government name.
Um, right. They're going to know the whole thing today. Um, but want to welcome them, and they're coming in from different places and different spaces here throughout California. And so, welcome, cousins.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
Thank you.
Out of all your cousins, we made the cut. Oh,
right.
I hope you feel that way at the end. No, I'm kidding.
okay.
It'll be good.
Uh-oh.
Like I've said, this is just going to be just like our normal conversations.
Right.
And so, you know, the holidays are an interesting time for some people. You know, when you look at movies, when you listen to different things on the radio, everyone's always happy, everyone's always loving, everyone's always just excited about it. And that's how it should be. But we all know that in reality, holidays are different for certain people. And for some, it's actually very stressful, the thought of being around family based on past trauma and drama. And so we will definitely talk about how we as a family deal with each other. We're a big family. And try to give some tips as to how other people can navigate what is sometimes a very, very stressful time. So I just want to start by asking you all, what do you think our family traditions are, and why are they so important?
Oh, family for tradition has always been there. And I think it stemmed from our grandmother. She always brought the family together on holidays and Sundays and things along those lines. So I think that's where we formed that gathering of coming together on holidays.
Yeah, it's always been pretty big for us. Our
Mhm.
first generation, our grandparents' children, and most of them are still with us, and so that's really good. And they would all have a holiday that they would host. Akilah, your
Mhm.
mom was always doing Christmas. Ladidra and her mom was doing New Year's, and it would just go down the line. So I don't know holidays without family.
Mhm.
I think if
Right.
there's a holiday we don't
Mhm.
get together, I feel a little bit like a tricycle missing a wheel, right? It just doesn't feel right. So,
Right.
Mhm. So maybe I should take a step back because people know a little bit about our family, the Nash family, because my mom has spoken about a part of our history in terms of her parents, our grandfather, our grandmother, the journey from Arkansas to California, and how we ended up, or they ended up having to leave and,
Mhm.
um, settling down in Los Angeles area. All of you all were born in the LA area. I was born in San Diego. Um, and so we have different, at this point, we have different generations in our family. We have the first generation, which would be, my mom, your moms, your dads, they're all siblings. And then we are second generation. We have third generation, which includes our children And I think there's fourth generation now.
Yeah, just not represented by us on this call, but we do have a fourth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we actually have 4 generations of the Nash branch still around. And so when you talk about a family, it's a very large family. There were 8 original siblings, and all of them had children, and now though some of them have children, etc. Um, how have we been able to still maintain that bond and those traditions? Because, you talked about the fact that this started with our grandmother. I never got an opportunity to meet her because she had passed by the time I was born. And yet I still understand that sense of family and gatherings.
What is
That
it?
came from your mom, right? She constantly brought you guys around. I remember when you and Akil were both little, you guys came to to Los Angeles a lot. So you guys were around almost every weekend, if not every other weekend. And so you knew that you had cousins out here. You knew about your aunts and uncles. You knew that we always had things together. So, and you guys always participate.
Mhm.
So, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know my grandmother either. I learned from my grandfather. And when you think about my grandfather, he always brought us together with his barbecue,
Mm-hmm.
having
That
things
is
Mm-hmm.
in
so
the
true.
house.
Yeah.
So when I
Mm-hmm.
think about grandpa, he kept everything going after grandma passed away. And you, Akil, myself, we never had a chance to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So she set that tone and he carried it. And our
Mm-hmm.
parents continue to carry that torch. And now we're trying to carry the same torch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think our family very early on, before we were born, they all pretty much learned to orchestrate the rhythm of their lives around family. It was church, it was home, it was work, back to my grandmother's house, and then go home. The next morning, they sometimes would stop by to drop us off, right, at our grandparents'
Mm-hmm.
house, and they'd come back for dinner sometimes afterwards before going home. It was just very cyclical. So I think that even after grandma passed, it was just the norm. So it kept doing what it always did, and it always kept us together. So we expected it, and if it didn't happen, where are you? We would even get mad when people would get married and have to go to the other spouse's families for a holiday because you
No,
Mm-hmm.
we
had to come
still
out.
do. It's
Oh,
not
we still do.
that we used
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
We
We
That's
still do.
true.
still do.
That's like been a long
I
time
know you
thing,
better bring them
so
here. You better
yeah.
bring them
Right.
this way.
It's like, where are you going? No, why? Your people should come here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
No,
is
that
right.
is that is so true. And Dee, where will you be this Thanksgiving?
I would be in San Diego,
San Diego.
but I am coming back on Friday to eat again with my other cousin who's actually hosting Thanksgiving.
Oh,
She
okay.
she know I'm looking at her out the corner of my eye. John this eye
Right,
out.
right. No, but that goes to your point of
Right.
Yeah.
whenever, because we're grown, we've got, partners, husbands, and we have to learn how to share time,
Navigate.
which is
Yeah.
something a
Right.
little different for the
But
Nashes.
also, what you have to look at too is that it took me 13 years to walk away from Thanksgiving
Yes.
one time.
Oh, you
Yes.
kept that a secret. I didn't know you weren't coming for Thanksgiving.
No, I was coming from Thanksgiving. I never left my family to go
Okay.
celebrate with another family for
Another
Thanksgiving.
family.
Mhm.
Right, right.
You're right.
Yeah.
So
There
Yeah.
you go. There's the
it's a
tension.
lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I know Chris
Wow.
is like, wait a minute, I didn't know that.
I
Right.
didn't know. I did. This is the first I've heard.
Right.
Aha.
Pretty good.
She probably thought I'd back out if she wasn't there.
You bet not. I'm hosting. How are you gonna back out if I'm there?
That would be the reason.
Oh, see,
No,
Okay.
no, just
Oh,
kidding.
you
right.
asked.
Akila,
You
you know how
asked.
we are. You know how we
I
joke
know. That's what I'm
around.
like, okay, wait a minute, wait a
Right.
minute, wait a minute.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
no.
no.
No, this is all love, all family. This is just
Yeah.
actually how we are. Um, and a lot of people wonder how, and they gravitate to the Nash family and the Nash
Hmm.
gatherings. But the reality is that it hasn't always been, roses, peaches. We're a very large family. We all have different personalities. Um,
Right.
we have, we come from different backgrounds to a certain extent. Um, and we have had our challenges, and we still do have our challenges that we navigate through.
Mhm.
And even for those of you that live in Los Angeles, LA's a big city. You could go if you wanted to for weeks and not months and not see other members of the family. And so um, sometimes holidays have been times where people see each other who have tensions and issues.
Mm.
How have we been able to get through that and not had the fights, the drama, the people that leave and say, I'm never coming back?
I mean, we've had that. We've had the fights, the drama, and people say they never come
Mhm.
back. But guess what? We see them at
They
the
always
next
come
holiday,
back.
the next function, you know?
Exactly.
I think that as our family, we pray a lot.
Mm,
Everybody
Mhm.
prays. And we pray before we have a function. We pray when we end. And to me, I think that that keeps us a little grounded.
mhm,
You
Sure.
know, we know that people have problems because we talk about it all the time. Yeah, people have problems. Get over it, move on. That's something Grandpa has always told us. Oh, kid, get over it. You
Let it
know,
go, kid. Mhm.
so
Yeah.
we kind of we know we're gonna fight. We're gonna have disagreements. But does that mean we don't love each other? Does that mean we're not gonna be there for each other? Does that mean we're not gonna pray for each other? No.
Mhm.
So
But then
that
there's
keeps
also,
us coming back.
it needs to be clarified that we fight, but we fight with words. We don't throw punches.
No,
I
yeah,
Right.
mean,
that
you know what
that
I'm
is
saying?
clarity.
No
Let's
blood
clear.
is ever drawn. We never have knockdown dragouts. Nobody's out there in the street. I do remember Christine throwing a
right.
pie. Christine did throw a pie at one holiday dinner. That she
What was this?
exactly selective
Yeah.
self-induced amnesia, but she literally threw a pie across the kitchen, and so, but that was Christine.
But no one was hit. So
No,
Nobody was
no
that's
one
hit.
was
the
sick. No one
No,
was
that
I
sick.
was
don't
the
I don't
important
remember
thing.
this one. That
no one
must
was
have
Right.
hit.
been
No one was
okay.
hit.
Thanks for reminding me, Tom.
You're welcome.
But even still, so I
Oh,
mean, I think even what Don said, we didn't throw punches, we throw words, right?
yeah.
And I think what we have to remember too is that cuts deep as well.
It does.
It does.
Okay.
Mhm.
And words can cut deeper. I'd rather sometimes it's people in this family just hit me because what you're saying hurts so bad that
Yeah.
it carries the weight for years.
Mm,
Mhm.
You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? But like my grandfather, he always say you got to get over it. You got to get
Yeah.
Right.
over it.
mm,
Yeah, it's
That's
true. And I
true.
think that when you come from a family that, as Akilah said, we have a large family, but we have a large family with a lot of strong personalities,
Yes. Oh
a
my
Mhm.
lot of
goodness.
strong opinions. And so, even words, we don't have a cussing family. It's
no.
not
Right.
even a cussing family, but we do have a family that speaks profoundly, right? And
Hmm.
so, whatever they
Mhm.
say, they're going to jab and stick, you know, and, it leaves you sometimes wondering, I mean, but my Aunt Shirley, who's always been the encourager, every now and then I would have to say, "Oh, I got to go contemplate what she said,"
Mm,
you know, because it may hit you, but it may be the hit that you need, which I
Right.
also think
Right.
has its place in a family dynamic and certainly a healthy family.
hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think a lot of the conversations that we have and a lot of things that have been said, they have actually prepared us for the world.
It's true.
Our
Yeah.
family has prepared us for the world.
Do you mean in a sense that we were not kept in a bubble, that we were not, that we had to deal with those hard realities at times, dealing with people with different personalities that may not filter what they're gonna say? Is that what you when you say?
Yes, absolutely. It
Mhm.
helped us to be strong enough to know that, hey, you knocked me down, but I'm about to get back up.
Right.
You
Mm,
knocked me down again, but I'm
Mhm.
about to get back up and I'm gonna keep going. Because we've always been taught that our cloth, it doesn't fold. So it's gonna
mm,
take a lot for you to knock us down and keep me down.
Mhm.
mhm,
Now I've sat at the Nash table, so if I've been at the Nash table, I can handle a boardroom. I don't care what you say.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
There's just some stamina that you build up from being with the family that it will very, and we're talking about like fight intention, but and our fight intention can hurt, like Ladidra says, but a lot of it is preparing, a lot of it is equipping
Mm-hmm.
because it stems from a place of love. And even when
Hmm.
families flow from a place of love, they may not always know how to speak it with a tone of love, but you
Hmm.
know where the source is, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
They may
Hmm.
not be able to wax eloquent with it when they deliver it, but you know that the source and the intention behind it is good. That makes it a little easier to get over. It also makes it a little easier to apply when you're out there in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, Don, I want to ask you a question because you do have a background in ministry and counseling, and you just talked about essentially having a foundation of love. And that is definitely something that this Nash family has, regardless of what has happened, regardless of how long you've been away. You know, you can always come back. You know that you always have love in the family. But there are people out there that don't feel that or may not have that because of things that have happened. How would you counsel them as to coming back into their family fold?
I think it's a great question, and I think our family has certainly taught me. I don't know if everyone else would agree, but our family has never been limited to blood only.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have folks that have were friends. Dr. Weber, your mom had friends that are like family to us because they moved to California and they didn't have a family. And our grandmother opened up and said, if you don't have a family, come over here to eat on the holidays. And they were engrafted in our family. And
Hmm.
so when we talk about love, I recognize it in some families. Family is not the real family, but family is also a community. Family is a social connection, and for those folks, and I have friends this Thanksgiving, I'll have people at my house that are not blood relatives, but they're friends that are like family, right? They're friends that I would say if you're not at home, you're at home when you're here, because I can't say I love you and leave you out there at a time when coming together is what it's all about. So for someone
Hmm.
that doesn't have it, I would say begin to lean in to the circle of friends and sometimes be okay to say, I don't have my family. It would be great if can I join you? And if you do have a family that's centered in love like ours, to also be able to open up the nucleus of that family. One of the things that we've learned is that our first generation have lived longer than they're gonna live, right? And because
Hmm.
that natural cycle of life is there, what will we do when those who taught us to do this, right, are no longer with us, but that we continue to do it and we continue to expand it to folks that are close to us that may not necessarily be blood related.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we've had many families come through that are not a part of the Nash family that become a part of the Nash family
Hmm.
because of a friendship that they created with one member. And then we open our doors, and next, they're in their spouses, their children are all extensions of our
Right.
family. And that's a good
Hmm.
point that you made, because when we talk about family and going home for the holidays and spending time around family, oftentimes we think of blood family. But if someone is in a situation where your blood family and being around them is unhealthy, it may be better for you and your overall physical and mental and spiritual health to actually go and spend it with the family that you have created, that you have
Right.
chosen to create.
Hmm.
Right.
Right. So
One of the things that some families struggle with, and we have struggled with it, is just the change in desires for generations. So I'll just throw out some things that we've dealt with. First generation, generally second generation, that would be us. We're not drinkers. And it never really hit me that we don't have alcohol at our family functions. We never really have until it
hmm.
became an issue because the third generation, y'all's children, because mine are too young to be,
Hmm.
thinking about alcohol, you know, brought it up. And I was like, oh, this is unusual for us to be having this conversation. And so as new generations come along, they often want to change some of the traditions, add stuff, and it can be uncomfortable. So, how would you all recommend families deal with those situations so that you can continue to have everybody together and continue to build and create new family memories?
Hmm, that's a tough question.
Well, it's not necessary. It's tough in a sense that we don't do it, but just like when my mom had a function at her house Labor Day, and we all showed up, and there were other people there, and they were like, can we bring drinks?" Sure, you can bring them, because I want them to feel comfortable, right? I'm gonna assume that everyone, that's all I can do is assume that everyone will drink responsibly, you know. And
Hmm.
that's pretty much it. I don't want to leave anybody out. So if you feel like you need a drink, have it. Because that's happened for New Year's Day as well. People have asked me, can they bring drinks? And I've always welcomed it, and it was fine. Nothing went wrong. People drank responsibly, and it was almost like it wasn't there. Nobody really saw it. No
Right.
one talked about it. No one said,
Hmm.
"Oh, did you see such and such over here drinking that wine?" It wasn't like that at all.
You just didn't hear them talk
You
about
didn't hear them talk
I
about
probably
it.
didn't hear it. I probably didn't hear it. But one thing I do, I want everybody to be comfortable when they
Yeah.
come to a family function or come to a dinner. Um, so it's a change, and it's a change that we probably have to talk about, but it's nothing that is, you know, it doesn't bother me at this point in time. I'll put it that
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I
And then
think it's the
two,
gift. It's the
oh, go
gift
ahead.
that comes with the millennials and those Gen Zers. It's the
way.
gift.
Yeah.
You know, they express themselves in various ways that I think on one level is my daughter always says, your generation was the silent generation. We're not silent. We're going to speak where you didn't speak, right? We're going to, express ourselves where you didn't express yourself. Okay, great. And I embrace that. And then if that expression now comes with a bottle, right? Where that expression now comes with, I want to smoke where we never smoked, or I want to smoke what you've never smoked,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because it does go beyond that, right? I then found myself having to say, listen, as LaDeirdre said, you can drink, but we're not getting drunk here, right?
Hmm.
And you can invite friends that drink, but we're not getting wasted here because that's not what we do, right? And what we do is we cultivate the atmosphere that's love and supportive and joyful and celebratory, but we don't expose ourselves to things that we know don't serve us well, right? And I think it's just having that conversation. So at the back corner of my backyard is where somebody can go smoke. Now, if I smell something strange, right, then I'm probably gonna have to address that issue because that's not what we do. And that wouldn't be responsible for this atmosphere. So read the room, read the family, read the party and the diverse generations that we have
Yeah.
here, things that we're concerned about, and be responsible. But I can't tell you not to, because I get it. The world has changed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay.
So, how do we? I will ask, Don, you this as putting on your ministry hat.
Oh, don't do
Um, so when we talk about things like smoking, drinking, that's in one category, and people may be able to deal with that if they say, okay, do it responsibly. As you've stated, these generations that have come behind our generation are much bolder in who they are. And sometimes you do have that clash. So if someone doesn't feel comfortable bringing their partner or comfortable in who they are around their family, how would you advise the family to welcome their family member, their partner, the person who they are.
Right. I think it all goes back to love, right? Because since you told me to put my pastor's or minister's hat on, the Bible tells me to owe nothing to no one but to love them, right?
Mm.
And so if I love you, doesn't mean that I agree with you. It doesn't mean that I applaud or I affirm all the choices and decisions that you would make, but it does mean that I'm the space where you're safe. I'm the space where there's no conditions to my love for you. And so my encouragement, and I've had this conversation within our family, that when people make life choices or struggle with the different life dynamics that may pull against the fabric of what we know and what we believe and what's been traditional for us, um, that we create the space for people to be themselves so that we don't perpetuate the threats that come along with folks having an identity crisis, right? Or folks having to resolve with issues that they don't necessarily know how to resolve on their own. I mean, if we talk about the same sex dynamic, that's come to our family before. Our family wasn't used to it, but then what are we going to do? We're going to love you because here is where you're safe. And I think that when we talk about love, we talk about safety. When we talk about safety and love, we talk about respecting one another and allowing people to evolve in the space that's called family, or they'll find family somewhere else.
But
Mm.
I'm also happy
Mhm.
that you brought up the word respect too, because I feel like if you respect me and you know that I don't do this, or you know
Right.
that my family does not do this, you
I was
should
going to bring.
respect me enough to say, okay, I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to wait till I leave. Even though I agree with, you might want to have a drink or two, but if you respect me, because see, I go around places of people that don't do things that I do, right?
Hmm.
But I respect that person, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to embarrass them. I'm not going to put myself in a situation to embarrass them because I respect
Hmm.
them, you
Right.
know? So I'm happy you brought that up as well because respect is a part of love and, accepting.
Hmm. Hmm. Now I have a question on that. So, how do you guys feel we should deal with the elderly part of the family? Because our parents aren't used to, and you guys know my mom, she's not used to anything but how do we deal with situations like that when our generation, our children, Gen X's, they have to respect our parents? Like our parents don't drink, they don't smoke. I smoke, but I don't smoke around my mom. You guys don't smoke. If I'm smoking, it's not in your face, it's somewhere else. So you have to have that head up, Dietra. You have to have the boundaries. No, but how often do you see me do that? Even if you guys are over here, I'll go outside.
No,
Remember when
you're
you guys
right.
used to come over all the time?
You're
So
right.
how do we teach our children to have the same boundaries, to have that respect for our parents who don't agree with the Gen X, with the smoking and the drinking and that they're not accustomed to that? So how do we balance that out as the second generation?
Well, I don't have children, but I do have nephews,
Right.
so talking to them and just letting them know, hey, this is just out of respect. And you have to apply it in a way of something that they like to do that's going to be disrespectful to them. And then
Right.
once I make the alignment with an example, you don't like to be disrespected in this manner. So think about
Right.
your grandmother. They don't like to be disrespected in that manner. And they get it. So once you align with an example, they
Hmm.
got it. They'll get it.
I get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
did. And I
Yeah.
try to, one, I have a fundamental belief that I can't take your freedom away to make a choice for yourself.
Right.
I
Right.
just
That's
can't.
true.
Right. And so in doing that, I also don't find what you choose for yourself to be wrong. It doesn't work for me, but it may
Hmm.
work for you if you make that decision. And
Right.
that disarms the conversation because at that point, I now respect your ability to make your own choice and decision. Now,
Hmm.
if I can remain open enough to keep the dialogue going, then I'm more
Hmm.
influential in that space.
Mhm.
But the moment I tell you that you're wrong, you're not welcome, blah, 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 and I'm
Yeah.
barking and biting,
That's
I've
it.
lost
That's
Yeah.
the
it.
ability to be able to influence you as you expand and grow in that space. So I'd say, if you smoke, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't, but there's nothing wrong with that. unless we're talking about it. Like Christine and I would talk about it. I was like, girl, you want to be around. You don't put
Yeah,
that
yeah,
cigarette down.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's when we're having a conversation about it. But
Right.
to go through life constantly criticizing and saying, you can't come over here if you smoke. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
that's not the space that we want to be in, you
right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do.
But Don, I think when we're talking about different generations, so we are we are an interesting generation because we are somewhat like the first generation, but we're
Mm-hmm.
also somewhat like the third
Gen
generation.
X's.
We're
Right.
much more lenient with our children than our parents were, our first generation. It's so funny because I will tell Jalil, or Kadir every now and then, like, oh, wow, if I said that, my mama would have XYZ. If I said that,
Yes.
Auntie Emma would have da 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 da, blah, blah, blah. And so, some point, I think he heard us talking and he came over and he was like, why is everyone in the family so violent? Because it's, you know, what they experienced with me is very different than what we experienced with our parents. And so, where we may have this kind of like, hey, we respect you, you respect me kind of attitude, to Chris's question, the first generation, as we all know, are not like that. Some of
Right.
our parents and aunts are very rigid in their ways and have absolutely
Mm-hmm.
no problem being very vocal about that. And
Right.
so, you know, for to answer your question about how do we deal with the younger generations and teach them that respect, is hard because they just have a different mindset and they're
Mm-hmm.
being raised very different than the way in which we were raised. But I do think that bringing them around family very early on is extremely important. So they see the love and the respect that you have for your elders, and you teach them that love and respect very early on so that when they get to be
Mm-hmm.
15, 16, 20, 25, whatever, even though they're very different, that has been a part of their foundation of who they were from very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That I may not like it, but we're going to go and we're going to go to these family functions. We're going to hug every auntie and uncle. We're going to, let them sit at their special table. And really kind of ingrain that in them too, so that they learn that respect, because it's very different than what they see in our households and what they see in their friends' household and
Right.
what they create in their own households.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's good too. Bringing them early. I mean, as a father, and all of my kids are adults, the best compliment I've ever gotten as a father was when one of my aunts said, I wasn't there, but my son helped them do this, or my daughter helped them do that. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I would have done if I were there, to be a part of the solution and honoring them in that way. But make no mistake, they still want to do it their way too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's bridging it. And so maybe we've done well in that. I know Crystal would do the same thing, and your boys would do the same thing, Akilah, so maybe we're passing it along right. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. My boys are younger, so we'll see. It's
Mm-hmm.
still a push and a pull, but talking about like a push and a pull, how do we convince this younger generation to continue with these traditions? It's not easy, with even within our own generation, to say, okay, the first generation, you all have done a great job. You can sit down, you can just relax and enjoy the food, the family, the fellowship. We've got it. So we've had challenges in having our own generation pick up each of these holidays. Um, how do we encourage the younger generations that these things are important and, to be able to continue on with them?
I'm waiting.
That's going to
I
be
know
a
you
tough
are, D,
one.
because you are the main one.
Yeah, that,
You're the main one, like, we got to keep this going.
right,
Right.
Ladidra,
Mhm.
she's my centrifugal force when it comes to that. I'm like, D, I'm off the ride. She's like, Don, you can't. We gotta be. We've got to do this, and it's so very important. And I think maybe 10, 12 years ago, we recognize and begin to feel the shift with the
Mm-hmm.
first
Mhm.
generation, and we sat down and talked about how intentional we have to be to create ways that bring us together, but not only bringing us together doing what we've always done, doing it a little bit differently so
Right.
that we make it
Mhm.
attractive as well,
Mhm.
right? Because
Right.
we're at the point where we could probably sit down around that same table and listen to our first generation folks talk and maybe do some light banter back and forth. Our kids don't necessarily want to be at the table sitting around for 2 or 3 hours doing that. They want to do something
Mhm.
else. So I think most recently we've incorporated games, right? We've incorporated all kind of things that would kind of stimulate their capacity for wanting to come to family
Mhm.
events, right?
Mhm.
Because as we get older, it slows down a little bit. We used to do tug of war out at the park at our
Right.
family events. We can't tug these folks. Some
That's
of them will never get up again. Right?
you
So,
got that
but,
right.
but what are we going to do with our, young folks? Because we want them to want to come. And we've gone through seasons where they start waning off, right? And they don't show up as consistently.
Right.
Well, I noticed
Right.
one thing, even though I don't have children, like I said before, I get Roderick and Ryan involved. Like I tell them ahead of time, hey, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And they do it with no problem because they want the dinner. They want to see everybody. So even last year, like Roderick, nobody knew because he didn't want anybody to know, but he made the lamb and it was good. He seasoned the
Oh, he
lamb.
Wow.
He
did?
cooked the
Oh
lamb.
my
You know,
gosh.
and then Ryan, he made sure the entire house was clean. So I was starting to add them. This is what I need you to do. This is how you
Mhm.
guys going to be involved. So I think with our third generation, we have to have them do things to feel like they are involved and that they are doing
Mhm.
something. I know with Danielle, she cooks. Danielle cooked macaroni and cheese. She's involved. What you need me to do? I know that Catherine and Dawn, every time, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to cook? That's our third generation.
Mhm.
Crystal
So
has that corn dish.
Crystal makes the corn dish, and Crystal does it every single time, and we don't have to ask her because we know that that's what she's going to do. So our third generation, for the most part, they are stepping up and they are doing things. Now, do we need to add to what they're doing? Yes. And I probably will
Mhm.
start adding to what they're doing little by little. Let's make one more dish. Let's do something else. What else can you do? Can you be a part of the games? Can you be a part of the music?
Mhm.
We have that's how you keep them involved is by having them do things.
Now, can I ask a question on that? I guess I'm doing all these questions. I'm listening to you guys talk, but I'm there, so I know what's happening. Now,
I
although
think
we
the
incorporate them in doing these things, do they have the relationships that we have that's going to want them to come together when we're gone?
That's a good
Absolutely
question.
not. Absolutely not.
have
And
to
I
be to
think it's
create
because like we don't bring our kid you guys don't bring the kids along with you all the time. I know Don is really good at it. Like his kids are
Hmm.
always they there.
Right.
They there at dinners, they go when we go on trips, they're
Right.
always there. So I think that if we like when we go out, if the kids come, that's how we're going to end up building that relationship. Because we could
Right.
go out and have fun and they're stuck at home, or we might have Crystal with us, or we might have Danielle D and Dominique with us.
Hmm.
Roger and Ryan are never with us. I get that. And that's something that we have to just
young folks because I'm surprised because my kids are all on social media, and I was surprised to find how connected they were to their other cousins that we don't see a lot. The
hmm
Don and Catherines, they're there.
hmm
We had a family reunion in San Diego maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Hmm.
Maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and my youngest daughter, Dia, connected with a cousin in Arkansas, and through everything she went through, she now moved to California, right?
Hmm.
And when she moved to California, she moved and plugged into our family. But that started because Dia became friends through Instagram and Facebook, connecting with her cousin. And I never thought that through a
Hmm.
social media lens, she would find family that she would feel safe enough to say, I'm relocating to California. So we have Madison in Southern California now. And I didn't know Madison before that family reunion. right?
Me
And my
neither.
youngest didn't
Yeah.
know her, but social media kept them connected. So there is some connectedness. We just have to, I think, empower leaders so they could see where opportunities are to do family connection the way they want to do it, right? Because we're
Mhm.
doing family connection a little bit differently. We've been on international trips together on the second generation,
Right.
and we had little cooperation from the first generation, but we stirred it in the second generation. I don't know how they're going to want to lean with it and rock with it in the third and fourth, generations. It'll be interesting to see.
Mhm.
Yeah. But Christine, that was actually an excellent question because, the first generation uh, was a, close because they were all siblings.
Right.
And then you get down to the second generation. Well, they are the children of siblings. And so, of course, you
Mhm.
all got together at, grandma's house, grandpa's house, you were all in the same city. But the farther down you go, to that next generation, those ties become much looser. And it
Right.
is harder to have that tight bond that you see in the first and second generation.
Mhm.
And there's so many other sides of families that are now involved as well that, when you talk about having this split time with different families. And so that was really an excellent question. And so I do agree with um, finding newer ways, whether it's via social media or other activities,
Mhm.
but also, if possible, being very intentional early on
Yeah.
about bringing your kids around, ensuring that they're around, their other cousins, and hopefully that bond will be created. I know my boys are a little bit at a disadvantage because they're so much younger than the rest of the people in their generation. But maybe once they're
Don't give up.
older, that age will,
Don't give up
you
Oh,
because
they
know,
will.
Christine
They'll be
Christine
happy.
is
not
much older
be.
than me, and I didn't like her when I was a little boy, but I love her now.
Oh, Christine was much older than you.
Christine
I'm
Christine was my
I'm
older
4
cousin when
years
we were
older
little.
than him. He's a senior just like I am.
But I think,
Crazy.
we were just family, and I think we were always brought together. And
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
wasn't a matter of choice. There was no choice in it. Our family's rhythm was that way. I could
We
not
grew
get rid
up
of my
together.
cousins. I didn't want to after a point, right?
Yeah.
We're going to
Hmm.
Disneyland. We're going to church. We're going to vacation Bible school. We're going to San Diego to visit Auntie Shirley,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
We're going to spend the
During the
summer out there.
summertime. Right.
It was just
Hmm.
the way we did life. And I think that maybe our grandparents or first generation was more intentional of keeping us together than we've been. Because I know for myself as a parent, I wanted to make sure I gave them room to breathe. And maybe on
Mhm.
some level I could have done that differently, right? I mean, my kids are close and they like family, they love being there. But I think that when we look at it as a whole, maybe we needed to be more intentional.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think maybe a family trip to Disneyland once a year could help.
Hmm.
Well, we
That
used
is,
to do that.
We
yeah,
did.
it's a catharsis.
And I've been asking for
You have.
Exactly.
years who's
And
You
it can
have.
who's
learn.
going to go.
You
Yes,
Yes,
have.
you
I have.
have.
And
Well, you have the
some years
Let's
reality.
everybody's like,
work
"Yeah,
on that
we
for
gonna go, we gonna go,"
2026.
and then at the end of the day, it's just me and my clan at
Let's work
We
on
should
Disneyland.
that
start.
for
We should start
2026.
doing that. I think we
And it
should
can
start
really
doing
just
that
be
again.
it can really just be the second and third generation.
Generation. Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, I don't really remember the first generation being very active in going to Disneyland,
Oh,
I
but
they were
think
the
they
ones
went
that
with
got
us
us
once or
started.
twice.
They got us started. We
They
would
got
go
us started in
for, yeah, they worked at the bank and they had like bank night, at Disneyland, and we would all
My
go.
mom.
But hear this,
Mm-hmm.
those tickets were
oh.
$20. Now they're 220. So a family of four is a grand just to get through the gate, and nobody's got a hot
Yeah,
dog
that's
yet,
true.
right? So,
And then your mom started it too. Remember
yeah,
Shirley did it? We went on, was it Memorial Day for a couple of
Memorial
Yes.
Day.
years?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's interesting because Akilah, your mom started the whole Zoom conversation, which I know you talked to her. She talked about that in the last interview I saw, and
Hmm.
it brought the family together. But it allowed me to start paying attention to the way they did things. I mean, we come
Hmm.
from really good stock, although the beginnings were pretty humble, right? They were very innovative in some ways that I don't know if I have demonstrated all that innovation, especially when it comes to family. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I think you've done very well looking at your children and Christine. You've done
thank you.
amazing with Crystal. And D is just an absolute gem, even though, as
Wonderful
you've said
aunt,
many times,
cousin.
you
Well,
don't
she tell
have
everybody else what to
children.
do.
But that allows you to be like the big
Mother of
cousin, big
all.
aunt to everybody.
She is.
Rod, Brian, now
Hmm.
Jalil, because you
Mhm.
are Jalil's most favorite of all. And
I
he
gotta talk to
loves him
him.
some D.
I gotta talk to Jalil.
Oh, oh,
He don't
D
know
and
her like we
Jalil are
do.
like this.
yeah.
Okay. They are
Oh,
like
that's
this.
good. That's
And
good.
that's a
Um,
Really?
huge age gap.
huge,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah, that
So
is. But he loves him some
anything
D.
is possible.
Um,
That's true. So you have babies everywhere.
I do. I do.
yeah. So before we end, I just want to ask each of you to just give me one memory that you have of a family tradition that will always kind of stick with you.
Mm. Well, I guess
I
I'll
will
go first
start
since
with
I'm the
young.
senior.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead. No, no, no. You
Oh,
can start with D.
well, I don't know if it's a tradition anymore. And it's not a tradition anymore because this person is no longer with us. But I used to love going to Arkansas with my grandfather
Mm,
Mm.
because it was so much fun. He was funny and he kept us on our toes and he kept us laughing the entire time. And I will forever miss driving to Arkansas with my
yes,
grandfather, my cousins, my aunts. I will forever miss that.
me too. That's exactly what I
What was
was
the
going to
word he
say.
had for all of us?
Stupid kid,
Stupid
you
kid.
stupid kid, sit down, stupid kid.
Stupid
And he used to forever tell us, which I think helped us a lot and pretty
Hmm.
much brought the second generation probably closer together. He used to always tell us we didn't have friends.
Right.
And I
You
still
don't have
live
any
by that
friends.
today. You don't have any friends. And I'm okay with that because I have my family and I have a
Mm,
second generation of cousins that feel like siblings.
mhm,
Hmm.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told Don I was trying not to cry on here, but
I was
Oh,
just
but
don't
waiting.
cry,
I won't.
D.
I know
I'm
it's
about to send you
woo,
some of
I'm
the
holding
calmest
it in.
pictures.
But that's amazing. That's exactly the
Yeah.
one I had. Is when we went to Arkansas because he had us, me and Deirdre, crying all the way there,
Yes.
laughing at him, and that is a memory that we'll always have. We always talk about that at family functions. Is Grandpa and those trips to Arkansas. I'll never
Mm,
forget it.
Yeah.
mm.
Wow.
Don.
You know, I just realized when I was thinking about this that I think I've been forever trying to recapture it. When I was growing up as a little kid and our grandmother was alive, every Sunday after church, we'd have dinner as a family together at her
Mm.
house, right?
Hmm.
And she'd be up at the crack of black in the morning trying to make sure the meal was going to be ready when we got out of church and everyone would come over. And that was just base camp for me as a kid. It was very foundational. Whether or not we're running outside, playing outside, eating, doing whatever we're doing, we're all together as a family. And so I think Soul Food did a picture of that, like a movie about it, when the families come together. That literally was our family. Our
Right.
grandmother passed, and then it stopped because everyone had to kind of find their own rhythm because she was really the centrifugal force of our family. But
Mhm.
so every Sunday now, I try to bring my kids, anybody that goes to church, we're going out to dinner. We're just going to be together. We're going to
Mm,
have dinner because I'm not cooking, right? But
mhm,
but having that meal and sitting at the table and laughing and touching base, talking about last week, projecting for what's coming up this week, and things that matter. Yeah, that's the family memory that I over and over try to recreate.
mm,
And
mm.
because he calls us almost every Saturday morning, who cooking? I want who cooking breakfast? I'm on my way. Who cooking? And we always tell him, Don, stop at McDonald's and pick you up a breakfast.
Mm.
Or better yet, get a wife.
I'm not gonna take that bait.
Right, right, right.
That would help.
But
It
Oh
probably would
wow,
help.
yeah, we had some
we have
amazing
so
times
many
as
traditions,
kids. I
Akilah. It
know.
is really it's amazing. Our family,
Hmm.
we come together for a lot of things.
Right.
Mm,
A lot of things that you don't even hear other families come together for.
right.
You know,
Hmm.
we're in each other's lives a lot, even though we probably don't even talk to each other every day. We do have the news. We have channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 7, because all of our aunts and uncles are a news
One of those
channel.
channels.
So they
Mhm.
keep
Yeah.
everybody informed on everything.
Ooh, they talk so
Yeah.
So
much. You can't tell
even
them nothing else.
if
Yes.
we don't talk to you often, we know what's going on.
We know what's
Yeah.
going
Mhm.
on.
We know what everybody knows what's going on with everybody. Even if you don't
Mhm.
think it, we know it.
Okay,
Mhm.
my last memory, and this is kind of like a little shade to you, Akilah, but this is my last memory. Fond family tradition is that before you were born, we used to come to San Diego during the summer and have the most amazing time with your mother. No, here you had to come into the world, and the
Nobody told
whole
y'all to stop coming.
the whole
Nobody
thing
said that you
changed.
had to stop coming.
No, we
Didn't we
no.
still go when Akilah was born?
We were not. Ladidra wasn't even going at that point. 'Cause we all
No.
like stopped around the same time. It was you, Veronica, and I that would go down there. We do vacation Bible school.
I thought
We do
Akilah was
science labs. We
there.
go to the beach. I mean, we do. These are things you can't
It was
remember
just
because
y'all three because I was never a part of I used to go to San Diego, but you guys never came.
right.
Yeah.
I
You
remember
know what? I
seeing
think what
Akilah
happened was
there.
you all stopped wanting to come.
Who?
I think that's what it
No.
was. It had
No,
nothing to
it's
do
a way
with
No.
to turn
me.
it
No, no,
around.
no. Right, because Christine, you are right. There are pictures of you all being in San Diego and I am there as a child.
Yeah, I
So,
remember. Remember, Don?
exactly. Thank you,
I,
Christine. So, Donna didn't have anything to do
you're
with
there as
me.
a
It
you're
was
as a
you
kid.
getting grown
Yeah.
and deciding that you didn't want to come.
Well, maybe I have selective self-induced amnesia because I blocked you out of those memories.
And he said self-induced.
I blocked you out. But it
I
was a
think
fun thing. It was a fun thing to
it
do every
was.
summer because we would just go out there and your mother, who was certainly the academician that that she's always been, we'd learn, but we'd have amazing fun, right? And
Right.
Mhm.
so that's
We
something that I
did.
miss. But I mean, here's a man just trying to recapture his childhood.
Wow.
Well, I want to thank you all
uh,
so much for joining me on this podcast today, and just talking about our family, the ways in which we've navigated the differences and the change in times and generations, giving some advice as to how families can ensure that when they gather, that they have as much fun and stay healthy and safe as possible, and
hmm
recognizing that family doesn't necessarily mean your blood family.
Right.
It could very much mean the family that you have created in your own city, in your own environment, in your own space, that you have decided serves your needs the best. And so I want to
Right.
thank you all. I love you all so much.
I love you too.
Thank
Really
you. You're
enjoy
welcome. We
spending
love you
time
too,
with my
Akilah.
family.
Yeah, and thanks
And
for having us. Thank you for picking
And
the
I'm
craziest
absolutely.
of
thankful
us
for
of the
my
bunch.
family.
You
I
took a
am
great
thankful
risk.
Yes.
for my family.
Donnie, he just wants to burst out so bad. Don't he? Can't hardly
He's
sit
like,
that
okay,
chair.
it's time for me to show the real Don. No,
Right.
it's it's,
So funny. That's horrible.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
been amazing having you. We are going into the holiday season, and so I know
Yeah.
I will be seeing lots of you all very soon.
Yes.
But really appreciate you all dropping tidbits of nuggets and advice, and just spending this time with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think what strikes me the most about this conversation is that family gatherings are hard because they matter. If we didn't care, it wouldn't be complicated. The stress, the effort to come together from different places, the navigation of different viewpoints and life stages, it's all a part of loving people who are different from us, who are growing and changing just like we are. As we head into the holiday season, I hope this conversation gives you permission to be honest about what's hard and also hold on to what's meaningful. Your family gatherings don't have to be perfect to be worth showing up for. And taking care of yourself, setting boundaries, knowing when to step away, protecting your peace, that's not selfish. That's what makes it possible to keep showing up. If you're traveling to see family, if you're hosting, if you're navigating difficult conversations, or just trying to enjoy the chaos, I hope you find moments of real connection in the middle of it all. And I hope you're gentle with yourself. Thank you for listening to Prescribing a Healthier Future. I'm Dr. Akilah Webber Pearson. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.